Right now, Sun Prairie police are investigating the Middleton mayor's claims that a former city planner sexually harassed her. Why they're taking over the investigation.
And record-setting heat ahead for Monday, and that's also all ahead of not only showers and thunderstorms, but snow as well. An active week ahead. Details in just a few minutes.
Plus, the annual Winter Festival of Poetry is taking place at Delta Beer Lab. We'll take you there. That's all coming up on News 3 Now at 10. Good evening and thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Jalen Banks. We're bringing you continuing coverage and new information this evening. First, the Sun Prairie Police Department will be taking over the investigation into the Middleton mayor's claims that she was sexually harassed by a former city planner. Mayor Emily Kuhn claims Mark Opitz attempted to unzip her pants and then grope her. This was at a State of the City speech on March 27th of last year at the Village Green Bar. After the incident, Kuhn says she reported Opitz to city staff and had asked for an investigation along with his firing. She says that she did not press charges. Opitz resigned in June 2025. Just 2 days after, City Human Resources agreed to launch an investigation. Between then and February of this year, Kuhn reported multiple instances where Opitz made her uncomfortable following his resignation. She says that Opitz stood directly behind her during a ceremony honoring a former Alder, and that Opitz became a substitute teacher at Kuhn's child's school. He is also currently a candidate for an Alder election. On February 5th of this year, Kuhn filed a petition for a restraining order against Opitz. It was accepted the same day. And that leads us to today when the Sun Prairie Police Department announced it was taking over the case at the request of Middleton Police. Sun Prairie Lieutenant Ray Thompson says in a statement to News 3 Now that the takeover is to, quote, ensure the independence and impartiality of the investigation. He says that no more information can be released at this time as this is an ongoing investigation. Both the city of Middleton and Mark Opitz responded when initial news of the restraining order broke. The city of Middleton said it would not comment on personnel or human resources matters that are subject to active proceedings or investigations. And Mark Opitz said, quote, I first learned about the temporary restraining order that day from a reporter, and I deny the allegations. An injunction hearing in this case is scheduled for February 27th. And Madison police say officers are sent to the hospital this afternoon after being injured by a suspect throwing items off of a balcony. Officers were dispatched to West Johnson Street at 5:40 p.m. about a block away from State Street for reports of a suspicious person throwing things off a balcony. The items hit a Metro bus and some passing individuals. While the suspect was being taken into custody, 3 officers were injured. The officers and suspect are both being treated at the hospital, and the investigation is ongoing. For now, let's go ahead and get a look at your first warn forecast with meteorologist Blaze Keller. Blaze, what should we expect as we head into the work week?
Well, another day similar to what we experienced today, especially temperature-wise. We got into the upper 50s to low 60s the day after Valentine's Day. Not setting any new records necessarily, but it goes to show you how warm we are and how warm we will be tomorrow, given we're expecting very similar temperatures, if not slightly warmer, to start off next week. Still holding on to the 40s in Viroqua at this hour. Platteville as well. Monroe, we're at 46, 32 in Janesville, 31 in Madison, 27 in Watoma. For context, overnight we should hang out right around 15 degrees, and instead we're only going to cool off into those mid to upper 30s to low 40s for most of the area. Now looking ahead to tomorrow, again upper 50s to low 60s, record-setting heat. Madison, we just have to get above 57 and we'll set a new record high temperature for tomorrow's date. And then we've got 2 systems moving through the area, one bringing us storms, the other bringing us snow. Timing on both in the full forecast.
All right, sounds good, Blaze. We'll see you then. And as always, you can track the forecast for yourself with our First Warned weather app. You can download that on any app store of your choosing. But first, a bipartisan bill to criminalize grooming in state law is now headed to the governor's desk. The legislation defines grooming as a pattern of behavior with intentions to condition, seduce, solicit, lure, or entice a child to have sexual behavior, including sexual intercourse or sexual pictures. Also this week, bills to bar transgender athletes from participating in girls' sports and legislation to ban gender-affirming medical procedures from minors are headed to the governor's desk. All of the bills face an almost certain veto from the governor, who has openly opposed the legislation. And Wednesday at the state capitol, lawmakers heard from the family of a 22-year-old man who died because he couldn't afford his medication. Cole Schmetdeck died in January of 2024 after suffering an asthma attack that sent him into cardiac arrest. Days earlier, he went to the pharmacy to pick up his medicine, which typically would only cost him about $5. But the pharmacy benefit manager had moved Cole's medicine to a different tier in his plan. The new price was more than $500. Cole couldn't afford it and left the pharmacy without his medicine. Cole's law would create guardrails on PBMs, aiming to protect patients from tactics that block access to their prescriptions.
He wasn't offered health care. He was handed a price.
I am begging you, please don't let another family go through what ours has. Please don't let another parent bury their child because a corporation decided profits matter more than people.
The bill has bipartisan support in both the Senate and the Assembly. Now to some more local news. A crowd formed at Delta Beer Lab earlier today to listen to poets for the 5th installment of this year's Winter Festival of Poetry. Hosted by the Wisconsin Fellowship of Poets, the 40th annual Festival of Poetry happens each week from the middle of January until the beginning of March. Each week, a group of 6 poets present a selection of their work for the crowd. While most of the performers are members of the Wisconsin Fellowship of Poets, Co-Regional Vice President James P. Roberts says that he makes it a goal to search for young and new poets to feature.
I think poetry is one of the best methods to express themselves. Especially in these times, it's become more and more important that young people let their voice be heard. Not only heard, but understood.
The last 3 weeks of the festival will continue to be held at Delta Beer Lab, with the final event being held on March 8th, followed by a concert of local musicians. Coming up next on News 3 Now at 10, Blaze returns with a complete look of your First Warn forecast. And our Sarah Carlson brings us the story on how a local food pantry helped a mother in need, plus how the most recent release of Epstein files is making waves worldwide. The fallout after the break.
You're watching News 3 Now at 10. Moving forward.
Thank you for staying with us. Food insecurity impacts not just the jobless or the homeless, but more and more working families. And as News 3 Now Sarah Carlson explains, the community continues to come through.
Tonight, we share the story of a Waunakee mom whose survival has required not just the strength and support of her family, but the community, specifically, in her case, the River Food Pantry.
So I was in a pretty bad accident a few years ago, and it pretty much left me bedridden. I feel like I was failed by the medical system. It took months to get imaging, months to see an orthopedic surgeon.
On top of that, it took months for Colleen to get the surgery she needed to be able to move, to walk, and to be a mom again. Well, I'm happy you have your boys.
Me too.
Happy, healthy, sweet boys.
They're the light of my life.
Colleen still suffers from unbearable pain.
So I dislocated my left shoulder, my left elbow, and my right knee. And it tore ligaments off the bone. His knee was bent because my MCL was torn almost all the way off at the attachment site.
She needed physical therapy after surgery, but needed a ride because she couldn't drive.
Oh, I know.
Now Colleen is seeing a doctor at a pain management clinic, but it's a long road ahead. She suffers from chronic pain, an invisible disability.
This one accident turned my whole world upside down, and now I have lifelong issues and challenges because of it. I had to rely heavily on friends and family. I'm so grateful to have such a loving father.
I count about 7 or 8 orders still in line.
Family and the community, especially the River Food Pantry, have given Colleen peace of mind for years.
The food pantry has been a big help to my family, especially with the rising costs of groceries. And I know food insecurity affects a lot of people.
She also finds a way to volunteer there herself despite her disability and hopes to bring her boys there soon too.
I think it's really cool to be so connected to the River Food Pantry and being able to feel good about giving back.
Side of the corner. Okay, thank you.
And it runs in the family.
I'm a volunteer here, however they need to use me.
Colleen's aunt, Deb Christ, is a longtime regular volunteer.
This is the 7th year I've been volunteering for the river.
She's put in 1,300 hours. That's about 3 hours a week.
I like the mission here. Whatever your background, everybody needs to eat. There's no shame in it. I mean, everybody can relate.
Deb says there is always a need for food, or she says money. Every dollar matters.
River can stretch $1 like you cannot in the grocery store. They have that food pantry system. They will not waste your money. They will make the best of it.
And for those who need help or know someone who does, Deb wants everyone to know they are welcome.
We do serve the working poor. There are a lot of people that work in those lines, or in my niece's case, she was hurt.
Deb gives back because she remembers her own needs as a single mother similar to Colleen.
I was a teenage mother, and I knew exactly what you did without a food pantry. You were hungry.
And while Colleen considers her choices in life, she has one request for those watching her story.
Anyone who's watching this who is like, well, I can't maybe give money, you can volunteer, you can give your time, you can give groceries.
And get this, Deb is so committed to helping those at the River Food Pantry that she spotted a donation she thought might be a valuable antique, and she was right. Turned it in for cash and donated that money right back to the pantry.
Sarah, Deb, and Colleen, thank you. The River Food Pantry will host a drive-through donation drop-off event tomorrow from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. You will be able to peek into the new indoor drive-through when you bring your donation. Now let's go ahead and get a look at your first one forecast with meteorologist Blaze Keller. Blaze, what's going on, man?
A lot. Starting Tuesday. Tonight into Monday, and for the first half of Tuesday, we'll be quiet. Patchy fog possible once again this evening. Could be sticking around for some of our northern communities into the start of Monday, which is when we'll climb into those upper 50s to low 60s, possibly setting new record high temperatures for tomorrow's date. And then we start to get a little bit more active, especially starting Tuesday night through as late as maybe Saturday of next week. Confidence is high that our first system Tuesday into Wednesday evening is going to bring us not only rain, but possibly a few thunderstorms and maybe an isolated severe weather chance. System number 2, my confidence is growing. I would say it's medium high right now that we will get a second system to move through the Midwest starting later Thursday into Friday. It might bring us at the very least a rain snow mix and possibly some light snow. We're going to have to continue to look at that path and see exactly where it travels, because it could potentially bring southern Wisconsin several inches of snow depending on if it follows the more ideal path. But let's focus on Tuesday first. This is our severe weather chance on Tuesday into Wednesday. This is just a general thunderstorm threat outlined by the Storm Prediction Center. So when you think of a garden variety afternoon thunderstorm, this is what we're talking about. Probably not going to be severe, but enough to get a few flashes of lightning and some thunder. But there is going to be enough energy in the atmosphere, especially early Wednesday, that we can't rule out a very isolated severe weather chance. All of this activity is out of here by the late morning, early afternoon, and then we are set to remain underneath breezy and mild conditions for the rest of Wednesday. What we have working for an isolated, an emphasis on isolated, severe weather chance is a little bit of atmospheric energy and some slightly warmer than normal temperatures into the upper 40s to about the mid 50s. What is working against this severe weather potential are the dry dew points, as well as the fact that this is early in the year. It is still mid-February, and this would occur early in the daytime hours. Even in the heart of severe weather season, spring and summer, early morning severe weather is very hard to come by. You really have to have all of the ingredients necessary, and this time around, I just don't see it. So stay with Channel 3. We will keep you updated on the off chance that we maybe get some small hail and some gusty winds. Then we look ahead to Thursday into at least Saturday morning. This next system is likely going to bring us at the very least a rain snow mix and potentially some snow. Again, if this drifts further to the south, we might see more significant snowfall across mainly our southern Wisconsin area into northern Illinois. So we will keep you updated on both of these systems throughout the week. In the meantime, enjoy the quiet on Monday and prepare for storms Tuesday night and snow Thursday night into Friday.
All right, sounds good. Thank you, Blaze. The Justice Department has sent Congress a list of so-called politically exposed persons in the millions of files related to convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. The DOJ sent the list in a 6-page letter on Saturday. Republican Representative Nancy Mace, a vocal ally of Epstein survivors, is slamming the DOJ, claiming that there are, quote, missing names on the list disclosed this evening. And the release of those files related to Jeffrey Epstein have also been giving major headlines and implications worldwide. Multiple high-profile individuals referenced in the files are being charged and or stepping down. Lee Kinnery has the story.
Jeffrey Epstein.
An international domino effect as millions of documents reveal Epstein's global connections.
Investigations are now underway in at least 10 countries.
From Europe, where the former Prime Minister of Norway has been charged with gross corruption, to the Gulf, where the CEO of one of the globe's largest companies, DP World, has stepped down. Sultan Ahmed bin Sulayem's relationship with Epstein is displayed in photos and hundreds of emails, including one that referenced a torture video.
Mr. Speaker.
And in the UK, pressure on the Prime Minister.
And on Monday, I promised my party and my country there would be change.
2 party members forced to step down in the wake of Epstein's emails. And Andrew Mountbatten Windsor faces new calls to be investigated for possible corruption. The documents show Epstein was an international man of money connected to a global elite. Juliet Bryant says she was in Cape Town when she met Epstein surrounded by power.
I went out one night and a girl approached me and said she was here at the King of America and he was here with Bill Clinton and Kevin Spacey and Chris Tucker.
Bryant did not accuse the other men of wrongdoing.
They left that day, but his office started phoning and arranging me a visa and tickets.
She was 20 years old and said Epstein flew her to New York, then got her to a private jet.
As the airplane took off, he started touching me forcibly in between my legs, and I freaked out. I realized this is not a modeling opportunity. I've been kidnapped. And then they whisked me away to the island, and then I was stuck there.
Bryant was at Epstein's homes for 2 years and recently secured damages from his estate. In the last few weeks, Juliet, we've seen people like royals, prime ministers, people in positions of power face real consequences. How do you feel about that?
Well, I think it's amazing that they're all being exposed, but I just would like to see them all held accountable.
Outside of the United States, investigations range from human trafficking to corruption and even espionage. Lee Canary, CBS News, London.
And coming up in sports, the Badgers keep on grabbing the Big Ten W's. Plus, the NBA All-Star Game had a Wisconsin tie. Find out how. That and more next in sports.
And now, News 3 Now Sports, brought to you by TDS Telecom.
Wisconsin basketball's big win over Michigan State on Friday was another statement game in what has been a roller coaster of a season for the Badgers. Bucky was led by an outstanding performance from guard Nick Boyd. The senior shot 5 for 7 from behind the arc, scoring team-high 29 points total, continuing to hold the top spot on the Badgers roster as he has averaged just over 20 points per game this year. But a season that has had its fair share of ups and downs sees another huge high.
We shoot like that, ain't no team in the country that can beat us. I'm having fun, man. It's been great, man, being with these guys, man. It's just a journey. Like, we was just like kind of lost as a team, and, we just came together. And to have moments like this, man, it's just beautiful. And I'm just so proud to be a part of this team. And, we got, like I always say, we got way more moments to share together, special moments. And I'm just looking forward to just having fun for these next couple weeks or months, left in the season.
Wisconsin women's basketball looked to turn a corner tonight as they have lost 5 in a row, a streak that started late January against arch-rival Minnesota. Bucky was back on the court tonight in Madison with a shot at redemption, taking on those Golden Gophers. We head to the court, first-year head coach Robin Pinchton trying to find some momentum after a 32-point loss in Champaign on Wednesday. The Badgers come out hot. Watch this play from Ronnie Porter early, looking like a quarterback out there, heaving the ball into the paint to find Destiny Howell for the easy bucket. Badgers up after 1 are up 6. We fast forward to the third. Bucky now trailing after half. Kyra Daniels, however, trying to get something going. She is able to get a friendly bounce for a chance at a 3-point play. However, the Badgers were not able to find a stride tonight as they lose to their rivals 83-60. From Sun Prairie to the world stage, forward Jalen Johnson put the NBA on notice this season. The Atlanta Hawks franchise cornerstone was named an NBA All-Star for the first time in what has been a fantastic breakout year. Johnson averages just over 23 points a game and 10 rebounds. The Wisconsin native was excited to represent his home state in Los Angeles, where tonight he became an NBA All-Star champion.
I only put on for not only my city, but, my state. It means a lot. We've had pros in Wisconsin, but, All-Stars are very limited. So that means something. I have a lot of pride with that. So I'm excited to continue to rep my state, rep my city. That's what made this so much sweeter, much more enjoyable, obviously. Everything that's happened within my journey, it all happened for a reason. So.
We had a little foreshadowing there with Jalen Johnson talk, but Team Stars would make it to the final game against Team Stripes in the round-robin tournament, as Team World would end up being the odd man out. The Stars would win 47-21, with Timberwolves star Anthony Edwards taking home the All-Star Game MVP. Finally, how about some NASCAR, the 68th running of the Daytona 500 in Florida, which was earlier this afternoon, and it did not disappoint as it came down to the last lap, as it so often does. Watch this, number 45, Tyler Reddick, right there in the third spot. He has a little maneuver to cut inside, taking that first place position and crossing the checkered flag with a rear view mirror full of smoke. What a finish it was today at Daytona Beach.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. But let's go ahead and touch back on Jalen Johnson and All-Star Weekend. I like the format that they had. It seemed like they were actually going out there and playing for the first time we've seen in a while.
Yeah, very different than the previous years, having 3 teams, and like I mentioned, a round-robin tournament with kind of the older guys representing one team for America, the younger guys, kind of the up-and-comers, and then Team World. So, yeah, definitely a very cool layout, and it definitely seemed like they were much more into it this year than they have in the past.
Absolutely, and hopefully Jalen Johnson can take home another award this season.
Sure.
But thank you, Nash. A final check of your first one forecast is coming up when we return. All right, Blaze, it's been an absolutely beautiful weekend so far as we head into the work week. What should we expect?
We are looking at a quiet and warm Monday, potentially setting new record high temperatures for several places across southern Wisconsin, including Madison. As the kids are heading off to school, if they have school tomorrow, upper 30s to low 40s, maybe some patchy fog. And then as we're all heading back home from work and school, man, it's going to feel like spring, upper 50s to low 60s. There is a look at our 10-day forecast. Storms Tuesday night into Wednesday. Snow or rain-snow mix Thursday night through Saturday.
All right, sounds good. It's going to be an active week, everybody. Thank you all for joining us. Seinfeld is up next. We'll see you back here tomorrow.